Following the death of baseball's Bill Buckner this week, there's been a whole lot of postmortem hand-wringing in media circles over whether it was fair to define his career over one misplayed ball. Never mind, it was the media that defined him that way in the first place. Over the past 33 years, this moment in the 1986 World Series has been aired thousands of times.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner, the Mets win it.
So now the question is, in depth, should that one play define Buckner's 22-year career, which included a batting title and All-Star honors? The Globe's Dan Shaughnessy and others argue it's not fair.
To mention his worst moment as his leading introduction to when you talk about his death, that's totally rude.
Yet that's exactly what played out in broadcasts all weekend.
The one play that haunted Buckner his whole life.
That cost his Red Sox game 6 of the 1986 World Series.
One of the most infamous and stunning blunders in sports history.
And over the years, any number of sports reporters in particular have made sure that blunder was indeed Buckner's defining moment.
When the ball went through Buckner's legs, it was as if time stood still.
I'm from Boston, so no matter what you do to Bill Buckner, it's not bad enough.
We all make mistakes, but that was a mistake that will haunt him the rest of his life.
In the end, isn't that okay? After all, most baseball players die in obscurity, not in infamy.
The courage it takes to play sports is the courage to run the risk of always being remembered for your worst moment.
I'll take that under advisement. I've had some worse moments. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't see it as rude or disrespectful. I mean, I was up in upstate New York, and I said, Bill Buckner died. And, my sister said, who? I was like, we're much more sensitive to it, here. But that was his defining moment. And by the way, all the obituaries and all the lovely tributes on TV, most baseball players do not get this. Of course they mentioned the other things in his career, but this is the moment everybody remembers.
Yes, they did. And not only that, everything you read about him or saw about him on TV during the last week has been, isn't it a shame that this is the thing he's most known for? It was one of the most famous plays in sports history. He was a wonderful player. Yeah. He was a good teammate. The Red Sox actually brought him back for half a season in 1990. He was treated well for the most part. There's always going to be some haters out there. But the fact is, this was a phenomenally famous moment in sports history.
I don't know how you don't start off talking about the thing that most people know the individual who's just passed away for, whether it's good or bad. I know that there is this sort of conflicting obituary impulse sometimes. Well, now's not the time to speak, talk about the negatives involving. Right. But in this case, as you guys have said, this was his claim to fame, as much of a bummer as it was for him personally. I actually went back and watched that at-bat. I'd forgotten how epic it was, and I'd forgotten that, was it Bob Stanley threw the wild pitch that got by Rich Gedman. So the story was simpler than just, more complex than just Bill Buckner screwing up, but he did screw up.
Yeah, no, he did, and I agree with you, Emily, and also Adam. When you make an enormous mistake on the biggest stage at the biggest moment, that's what you're going to be remembered for. People will remember you for that, and the media will remember you for that. And I think that in the reporting of his life, it was, well documented that he was a great player. He got, 2,715 hits. He's got more than Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio's in the Hall of Fame. Maybe he should be in the Hall of Fame, because there are a lot of people that aren't as famous as Bill Buckner who are in the Hall of Fame.
I found it disingenuous that some of the sports guys, though, were the ones who were lamenting this. They're the ones who perpetuated it.
Yeah, you saw in your piece the Jim Murray headline from years ago. Buckner error will outweigh all his hits. No, no. And look, I read the obits religiously, pretty much to make sure I'm not in there. And I see many obits of someone who I only know for an arrest or a crime or something, where that is mentioned in the 5th or 6th paragraph. Buckner could have been accorded that same treatment without any truth being lost. And by the way, it was a pass ball by Gedman, not a wild pitch by Stanley. Gedman himself admits that.
My point was, a lot of people don't know who Bill Buckner is, like my sister. All you need to do is show that image. And
one of the greatest hitters of all time.
But that's why the networks, people don't know. Nobody knows anything. So do they see that and they go, oh, yeah. And every network did it. Most baseball players don't get a network obituary.
Do obituary writers need to pander to that? Can't they make the call about...
No, this is television. You got to pull the viewer in, and that's the moment. Oh, yeah, let me watch that. Yes, John, you know.
I agree with you about Gedman, although it was called a wild.
All right, never mind, you guys.